Hi everyone, welcome back to Introspective Living. Today I'm going to take up another question from a very dear friend of mine, somebody who really inspires me, Nancy Katyal. And the question is, how do you find the strength to be hopeful during the toughest parts of your recovery, especially when progress seems so slow? This is similar to another question by another friend of mine, which was, how do you always find the strength to be positive? Thank you for the question, Nancy, and a friend of mine. Yes, it was extremely challenging to remain hopeful during those times of recovery where things seemed not working in my stride. During the toughest parts of your recovery, I think you are really encapsulated with fear. When you're fearful, it is extremely difficult to be hopeful. When I was conscious, I had gained consciousness, but I wasn't progressing. Everything seemed to come to a standstill. What really worked at that point of time was for me to give in to the fear. I made fear my strength. I was fearful of whether I'm going to be alive, whether I'm going to make it the next day. And when you are fearful, you really give it a strong fight. You fight to your strengths. But somewhere down the line, I think we fail to realize that sometimes these strengths of ours are overdone. And this whole attitude of giving it a fight was probably becoming a constraint, was probably becoming resistance in my journey to recover. So when I had actually given up and said, okay, you know what, I'm just going to be there with the fear. I know I'm fearful, I know I'm anxious, and I'm going to let it be. That's when I actually started fighting. The only thing that shifts you from being fearful to being hopeful is to be able to be in the moment, accept what is going on. Unless you're accepting it, you are only fearful and you're hopeful for a very dreamy outcome, which might not happen. I think it's important to be able to identify where that fear is coming from. Put your faith into something to be hopeful in that moment. I set really small goals for myself, trying to breathe on my own for a couple of minutes extra. Tomorrow when I do bedside sitting, I will sit for 5 minutes extra. When I was able to see those small targets, small goals being achieved, that really created a lot of motivation and a lot of hope for me. Another very important factor was having my mother around. I think without her, there would have been no motivation for me to fight it through. I think she was the one who created hope for me. She was the one who walked into my ICU room every day and told me that you're going to get out of it. Seeing her being so hopeful, I think allowed me to believe that I can do it. Another thing that helped me was I listened more. Rather than questioning or assuming, why is this happening to me? This always happens to me. Instead of asking those questions, I diverted a lot of my thoughts towards listening to what was happening. I was just trying to focus on the things that my body was telling me to do, the doctors were telling me to do, what my mom was telling me to do. Because I think instead of trying to question why I need to do this, I wanted to give everything a try, especially when I was stuck at a place where nothing was moving. The question that aligns with this question is, how do you find the strength to be always positive? I think there have been times that I have been drastically frustrated, irritated, and absolutely not in a happy state during that period of time. The only thing that helps me be positive is to look down and realize that I've hit a rock bottom. I can't go beyond this. The only way is going up. Every time you realize that it can't be worse than this is probably when I get the potential to pick myself up and start going again. That's what I've been doing even post hospitalisation. There are days that I feel absolutely lost, absolutely unproductive. I feel that I'm not doing enough. I be in that state. I accept that feeling for the day and pick myself up and work out the things that are going to help feel productive and help me feel worthy of myself. I do have my share of negative thoughts. I allow myself to be power, to be present in those thoughts and plan what do I want to do about it. Thanks once again for asking those questions. I'll see you in the next episode for Introspective Living. Thank you.